Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the President of the Republic, His Excellency Anglais, received meetings of young parliamentarians. The head of state has received a high-level Somali delegation. From the international scene, the landslide toll rises. The 43 deaths rescues effort continue. Welcome to our newsroom. The head of state has received the president of the southeast region of Somalia. The president of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, received today, late Monday afternoon, the president of the southeast regions of Somalia, Abdulaziz Hassan Mohammed, leading a large delegation, including both of members of the Somali federal government and officials from the regional administrations. He had the visit of the president of the southeast regions of Somalia to Djibouti concerned missions of studies, learning, assimilation, and acquisitions of expertise on the concept of the creation port infrastructure. The administration is headed by Abdul Aziz Hassan Mohammed finds it in the Republic of Djibouti, sister nation to all Somali regions, and efficient partners in its determination to endorse a process to exploit its coastal potential, in particular the localities of Marka and Barawe, which will sponsor new modern ports. We are here today to seek multifaceted assistance from our Djibouti brothers, said the president of the southeast regions of Somalia. In audience with the head of state, we want to benefit both from their sound advice on the constructions of ports infrastructure, on the experience in acquisition significant for major development project, he said. The ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Federal Republic of Somalia, Mr. Aden Hassan Aden, and the president of the Djibouti Ports and Free Zone Authority, Abu Bakr Omar Haddi, took part in this meeting. In an interview on the national television, the president of the state of Southwest Somalia, Abdul Aziz Hassan Mohammed, expressed his thanks and gratitude to the president of the Republic, Ismail Omar Gelle, for the warm welcome extended to him and his delegation. He stressed that the visit to Djibouti was intended to familiarize himself with the great progress made in the file of ports and free zone after having been invited by the president of the Djibouti Port and Free Zone Authority. I take this opportunity to pay tribute to the important support provided by the Republic of Djibouti to those affected by the recent floods in some parts of Somalia. For his part, the president of the Ports and Free Zone Authority, Abu Bakr Omar Haddi, in an interview on the national television, stressed the great importance of the visit of the president of state to the southwest Somalia and his delegation to Djibouti. He recalled that the delegation arrived in Djibouti in order to get a close look at the progress made by our countries in the management of port and free zone, and then to learn from our country's experience in this vital area. This visit was part of efforts to promote economic integration in the sub-regions, particularly between Djibouti and neighboring countries, said Abu Bakr Omar Haddi, the president of the Ports and Free Zone Authority. We will continue to work continuously to strengthen the provisions of all our children, President Gelle said. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, made this statement today, Monday, at an audience granted to the Djibouti Children's Parliament during this meeting, which took place at the Republic Palace, and which, as part of Djibouti celebrations of the current International Children's Week, serves as a summit event. This meeting also reserved a central place for proposal from the Children's Parliament, which immediately found a favorable response from the head of state. The establishment of a greater interactivity and communication between the Children's Parliament and the various decision-making spheres of our country, and the creation of a special fund dedicated to the well-being and development of our youngest compatriots have, among other things, been some of complaints and recommendations made by these representative bodies of the children of Djibouti created in May 2018. The Djibouti Children Parliament already has several working missions to its credit, including a several-day internship in the National Assembly, a true institution with an impeccable functioning. It has an executive committee composed of the President, Vice President, Second Vice President, and Secretary General, the Minister of Women and Family, Momina Ahmed Hassan, the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, took part in this meeting, which include as sections dedicated to the presentations of a gift from the head of state to each members of the Djibouti children. The participation of the Secretary General of the Presidency, Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi Waisa, in this event should also be noticed. For his part, the head of state reiterated in his speech the commitment of the government to continue effort to provide our children with all the conditions conducive to their well-being and development. Listen to Dini Moussa.
Particulièrement heureux de pouvoir.
The head of state, Ismail Omar Gelle, said the commitment of his government to continue efforts to provide our children with all the conditions conducive to their well-being and development. Rest assured that we are governed by an ethic that requires that none of our children be left behind, said the President. Be sure also that we have an equal preference and affection for our children, both those who fully enjoy their facilities and those with special needs. He continued, taking the opportunity to announce the upcoming commission of an important series of achievements for the educations, care and harmonious development of our children living with disability. In addition to the upcoming inauguration of a school for autistic children, the state will provide all the necessary support to RTD to produce newspapers entirely devoted to people with special needs. President Ismail Omar Gelle also promised.
The President of the Young Parliamentarian talked about the establishment of greater interactivity and communication between children's parliament and the various decision-making spheres of our country, and the creation of a special fund dedicated to the well-being and development of our youngest compatriots have, among other things, been some of the complaints and recommendations made by these representative bodies of the children of Djibouti. The young parliamentarian asked the president to allow him to be cured of his genetic disease, and that is spreading through his eyesight. Another young parliamentarian asked the president to set up schools for children with special needs in the interior regions. For the answers of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Gelle, said that the upcoming commissions of an important series of achievements for the education, care, and harmonious development of our children living with a disability, in addition to the upcoming inaugurations of schools for autistic children. The state will provide all the necessary support to RTD to produce newspapers entirely devoted to people with the special needs. President Ismail Omar Gelle also promised.
Si aad ugu ballaarisid région gobolada.
Je vais demander au ministre de l'Éducation de prendre votre adresse et nous allons faire tout ce que nous pourrons faire pour vous aider à vous soigner d'abord, hein, vous prendre en charge partout où besoin sera. Je prends l'engagement, mon enfant. Hein. L'enfant a besoins spéciaux, a les mêmes droits, les mêmes droits que les autres. Et alors, à vous maintenant d'offrir, n'est-ce pas, la formation dans toutes les régions du pays et à Djibouti.
The young parliamentarians were given guided tours within the presidency and had the opportunity to take a family photo with the President of the Republic. The Minister of Women and Family, Momina Ahmed Hassan, indicated that this visit is part of the celebrations of the National Child Week. It's all about speaking alongside the country's young people who will be the country's future leaders by improving their living conditions. An important meeting was held yesterday under the high patronage of the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed and the member of the government and the head of the institution's discussions focused on the response to the storms that affected the capital. In addition, the Prime Minister held meetings with the representative of the international organizations. Discussion focused on support for diseases that have been affected by rain. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed talked about the sanitation service have crisis across the capitals for better water management. This and other services continues to work hard to address this situation. It also said the President of the Republic released yesterday said the crisis meeting sum of 100 million which was made available to the RSEC plane. In the elections it is going well and we have a very good understanding between us and the people that the RSEC plane is a program involving a good numbers of public services and state institutions in addition to the sanitation and civil protection department. These include the Prime Minister's Office, Minister of Interior, Minister of Budget, Minister of Communication, Health and Women and Family, the Minister of Housing. The Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsamadiri, brought together his main collaborators to implement a prevention program against the risks of diseases such as diarrhea and malaria. Indeed, as part of the RSEC plan triggered following the bad weather, the Minister of Health is implementing a preventive strategy to fight the threat of diarrheal disease and the risks of malaria. During the meeting, the Minister of Health indicated that it's the imperative to quickly implement these preventive measures in order to address the risks of mosquito and microprophylations that could lead the water's release diseases such as malaria, diarrhea, and viral fevers. Thus, several emergency prevention activities have been planned and will be intensified in all districts of the capitals, in particular through the community outreach workers and the community health workers who will be mobilized to raise awareness and disseminate good hygienist practices. For his part, the Secretary General of the Health Ministers, Dr. Saleh Benita Traub, who recalled that the outlines of this preventive strategy in public health of the RSEC plan set up by the Department of Health, that several emergencies preventive activities have been planned and will be intensified in all districts of the capital, in particular through community outreach workers and the health will mobilize to raise awareness and disseminate and good hygiene practices. Also, as part of the RSEC emergency plan, the sanitation department, in close collaboration with the Djibouti Road Agency, doubled their effort to open sewers to evacuate all standing heavy rain waters into the capital traffic artery. The sanitation services have crisis across the capital for better water management. This and other services continue to work hard to address this situation. It should be recalled that this rainfall has also displaced tens of thousands of people, particularly in Somalia, submerged entire cities in southern Sudan and caused several deaths in the countries of the region. It should be noted in passing that the scientists explain that a climate phenomenon centered in the Indian Ocean of a power not seen in years has caused devastating rains in recent weeks. Currently, according to these scientists, the water bordering East Africa are warmer than normal at these times of year, causing increased evaporations as the humid air flowing towards the continent turns into the rain. As the rain has stopped and most of the neighborhood have dried up, housing the Minister Amina Abdi Adenis, who is in charge of his colleagues Muna Usman Adenis, acting Ministers of Social Affairs, today launched the second phase of the OHSEC plan, which is the plan for families to return to their homes at this stadium colleges transformed into the shelters. This meeting saw the participation of the mayor of the city, Fatma Awali Osman. This institution is concerned by ORSEC plan. The second phase of the ORSEC plan consists of assisting families to return to their home and organizing the departures of family in the areas concerned, the districts concerned, where the district 1 Anglais and all the accommodation centers are evacuated. The purpose of this meeting was precisely to explain how the displacement process of the affected families should take place. It should be recalled that the first phases of the ORSEC plan concerned the care of families. Its objectives was to assist family in accommodation center. The President of the Republic released yesterday at the crisis meeting sum of 100 million, which was made available for the ORSEC plan. In her reactions, the mayor of the city gave us her impressions of the family returns process. It's going well and we have a very good understanding between us and the people, she said. The acting Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Amina Abdi Aden, said that the OHSEC plan is a program involved with good numbers of public services, state institutions, in addition to the Sanitation and Civil Protection Department, Prime Minister's Office, Minister of Interior, Minister of Budget, Communication, Sales. The weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Weather generally light in the to cloudy with some sporadic intermittent showers in the late evenings and mornings on the coast and southeast of the territory. The wind will blow for northeast, sometimes reduced, and the rainfall. The elected representative of the peoples of Africa meet in the Republic of Djibouti for the activities of the African Parliamentary Union's APU, the statutory works of the UPAs, including the 7 sessions of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union began today at the People's Palace under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mohamed Ali Ahmed, President of the National Assembly and President of the Republic of Djibouti, in addition to the participation of the Secretary General of the UPA. This major event was held at the purchase in addition to the President of Djibouti, the Vice President of the Egyptian Executive and Parliamentary Committee, the President of the UPA Women's Committee, who is also President of the Senate of Zimbabwe, as well as delegates from the Parliament, member of the Union, composed of more than 14 national groups of the African country. The UPA is therefore organizing from 24 to 29 November 2019 its statutory activities, of which the Executive Committee of this Monday is the highlight. Finally, it should be noted that these statutory activities, 75 sessions of the Executive Committee, followed by the 42nd Conference of the President, will take place from 24 to 29 November due to Djibouti. For his part, the Vice President of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union delivered a speech during the opening ceremony of these sessions. Listen for more detail.
The Vice President of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union delivered a speech during the opening ceremony of the season of the Union in Djibouti, in which he expressed solidarity with the Republic of Djibouti in the context of floods in the country following the heavy rains. He also expressed his thanks and gratitude to the President of the National Assembly for the warm welcome and hospitality extended to the delegations attending this meeting. Speaking on the agenda of the meeting, the Vice Chairperson of the Executive Committee Union said that meeting was devoted to reviewing the implementation of the decisions of previous meetings, the work program for next year and the Union's budget, as well as preparing the agenda for the next meeting of the Union's Executive Committee. He stressed the need for all committee members to actively participate in the discussions of the meeting organized by Djibouti, a land of meetings and exchanges. At the end of his speech, the Vice President expressed his thanks and gratitude to the President of the National Assembly for the efforts made to ensure the success of these meetings.
During these sessions, the President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Ahmed, read a welcome address. Listen to Dini.
À l'entame de mon propos, j'adresse
Allow me to welcome all our guests here today. May you enjoy our legendary hospitality. During this short stay, Djibouti, country of brave camel nomads and land of exchange, is delighted to welcome these parliamentary elections whose bodies hold their work in our beautiful republic. It is with distinct heroism that we welcome this season of the Executive Committee and the Conference of Presidents of the African Parliamentary Union. This meeting is timely because it follows the seminar of the Assemblée parlementaire de la Francophonie, which was held here a few months ago, during which essential and inherent themes of sustainable development, namely democracy and the fundamentals of good governance, were discussed and examined. These universal and fundamental themes are given equal consideration by the African Parliamentary Union, whose charts promote similar values and, beyond that, commitment to a common cause, that of consolidating African parliamentary democracy on the continent and enabling African parliaments to influence the international scene. Once again, we have gathered honorable members, participants, to express our attachment and unwavering faith in this value that we cherish. Within the African Parliamentary Union, this meeting will focus on the importance of the contribution of young people to the promotion of democracy, peace, security, and the rule of law in African countries. On one hand, and on the other, the promotion of diversified economy and local processing communities for the employment of women and youth.
For the international scene, the number of the landslides have risen to 43 deaths. Rescue efforts continues. Listen to this report.
Several villages in West Pokot after heavy rains fell on this neighboring country of Uganda and southern Sudan. Rafael Nadal offered Spain victory in the Davis Cup final. The Iberians defeated Canada. Spain won the first edition of the Davis Cup by defeating Canada in the final of Sunday at the Kajam Magija in Madrid. World number 1 Rafael Nadal offered Spain victory by defeating Denis Shapovalov in the second singles, leading 2-0. Spain was assured of victory. Spain reached the Davis Cup for the 6th time in history after its successes in 2000, 2004, 2008, 2009, and 2011. The Spanish succeeded Croatia, who defeated France in the final last year in Lille, for the last edition of the All Davis Cup formula.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.